What if the darkest parts of you, the jealousy you hide, the anger you suppress, the thoughts you'd never dare to say out loud, are actually the most important parts of who you are? It sounds dangerous, even scary, right? But Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, believed that everything we shove into the dark doesn't just disappear. It waits. It waits to shape your choices, your relationships, and even your future. He called this hidden side the shadow. And here's the shocking truth. The more you deny it, the more it controls you. Take a second and think about it. Have you ever exploded in anger over something small? Have you ever judged someone for a trait that secretly lives inside you? Have you ever felt an urge so strong it scared you? That's not random. That's the shadow knocking on the door. Before we dive deep into this dark mirror of the self, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Here's why. Understanding the shadow isn't just fascinating psychology. It's a real-world superpower. If you can spot the hidden motives inside yourself, you can stop sabotaging relationships, stop repeating toxic patterns, and actually design the life you want instead of being ruled by impulses you don't even recognize. And stay with me until the very end, because I'm going to share a real Jungian exercise, a technique used by therapists and thinkers for decades that can help you meet your shadow face to face. Most people will never dare to do this, but if you do, you'll never see yourself the same way again. So what exactly is the shadow? According to Jung, every child is born whole, full of instincts, emotions, and possibilities. But as we grow, society starts handing us rules. Be polite, don't cry, don't show anger, don't want too much. Parents praise the traits they like and punish the ones they fear. Slowly, we build a public mask, what Jung called the persona. The persona is the version of you that fits in, gets approval, and wins likes on Instagram. But everything that doesn't fit, every wild urge, every unpopular opinion, every inconvenient truth about who you are, that gets pushed into the basement of your mind. That basement is the shadow. Maybe as a kid, you were told that showing sadness was weakness, so you learned to smile even when you were hurting. Maybe you were punished for standing up for yourself, so you became nice and passive. Maybe you were shamed for being too loud, too sexual, too ambitious, so you hid your fire and called it humility. All those disowned parts don't die. They live underground, shaping your dreams, your fears, and the things you can't explain about yourself. Here's the terrifying part. The shadow always finds a way out. The anger you repress, it slips out in sarcasm or sudden explosions. The envy you deny, it shows up as gossip, judgment, or secret competition. The desires you won't admit, they surface in late-night texts, impulsive hookups, or obsessive fantasies. Jung warned that what you refuse to face in yourself will appear in the world as fate. That person you can't stand, the one who triggers you for no reason, they're usually carrying a trait you buried in your own shadow. Every time you overreact, every time you feel a surge of hatred or obsession, that's the shadow saying, "Look at me, I'm part of you." Think about relationships. Why do we fall for people who are bad for us? Why do we attract the same toxic patterns again and again? Because the shadow is trying to get your attention. It hides in the people you love, the enemies you hate, and the situations you can't escape until you finally face what's been hiding inside. But here's the paradox. The shadow isn't just a monster. It also holds your greatest gifts. The passion you were shamed for is the energy that could drive your art. The anger you were told to suppress is the fire that sets boundaries and fuels courage. The selfishness you were punished for is the seed of self-respect. Jung said, "Gold is found in the dark." Facing your shadow isn't about becoming evil, it's about becoming whole. The goal isn't to get rid of the shadow, it's to integrate it. To say, yes, I have rage. Yes, I have envy. Yes, I have wild desires. And because I own them, they no longer own me. So how do you do that? Jung called it shadow work.
It's not pretty. It's not a 5-minute hack. It's a lifelong conversation with the parts of you you'd rather pretend don't exist. It starts by watching your triggers, the people you judge the hardest, the traits you can't stand in others. Those are mirrors. They show you the qualities you've buried. Dreams are another doorway. Jung believed dreams reveal the language of the unconscious. Pay attention to the characters that scare or disturb you. They're not random. They're fragments of you asking to be seen. Journaling, therapy, meditation, these are tools to bring light into the basement. But be warned, the shadow fights back. It will make you rationalize, project, blame, and run. It will whisper, "This is stupid. You don't need this." That's when you know you're close to the truth. If you're in your 20s or 30s, shadow work is more urgent than ever. We live in a world obsessed with branding, Instagram perfection, LinkedIn achievements, TikTok highlights. Everyone is busy curating a persona, but the more perfect the mask, the darker the shadow. That's why mental health crises, sudden breakups, burnout, and identity crashes are everywhere. You can only fake it for so long before the shadow demands to be heard. Here's the good news. The earlier you face it, the more freedom you have. You stop chasing likes and start building a life that's real. You stop ghosting yourself and start meeting the person you actually are. If this is hitting home, pause for a second and smash that like button. Not just because it helps this channel grow, though it does, but because it's a small act of shadow work. It's admitting, yes, this topic matters to me. I'm ready to look deeper. Drop a comment too. Tell me one trait you suspect might be hiding in your shadow. You don't have to overshare, just a hint. Even writing it down begins the process of bringing light into the dark. As promised, here's a simple but powerful exercise Jungians use to meet the shadow. It's uncomfortable, but stay with me. Tonight before you sleep, write down the 3 people who irritate you the most. Not just celebrities or politicians, real people in your life. Next to each name, list the specific traits that bother you. Is it arrogance? Neediness? Greed? Now here's the twist. Admit that each of those traits lives somewhere in you. You might express it differently. You might keep it hidden. But it's there. Sit with that truth. No judgment. No excuses. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about reclaiming the pieces you've disowned. Most people will never do this because it threatens their persona. But if you do it, you'll feel something shift. That trait you hated in someone else will lose its power over you. You'll start to understand yourself and other people on a level most never reach. Carl Jung believed that the journey of life isn't about becoming good or bad. It's about becoming whole. The shadow is not your enemy. It's the key to the energy, creativity, and authenticity you've been missing. When you face it, you stop being a prisoner of your unconscious. You stop projecting your fears onto the world. You stop running. And that's when real freedom begins. So, are you brave enough to meet the person you've been hiding from? The shadow is waiting. It always has been. If you're ready to keep exploring the hidden corners of the human mind, hit subscribe right now and join this community. Every week, we break down the psychology that schools never teach you. Tools for understanding relationships, healing, and unlocking the parts of yourself you've been afraid to face. And remember to stay connected in the comments. Sharing even a small insight or reaction isn't just supporting this channel. It's an act of courage. It's saying, I'm ready to stop running from my shadow.